To take a look at stock market and gold this morning. We're getting some confirmation here that we probably are indeed moving into this triangle consolidation. In my last video, I said that there's a bit of a warning sign when this rally came up a little bit short. This is kind of how triangles begin. When I see this kind of pattern in gold, at 9 times out of 10, it means a triangle is starting. We don't actually have confirmation of it yet. We would need to come down and see stocks bounce, somewhere down in here. Um, and then at that point, I think I would be more confident in calling a triangle forming, but it's starting to look like it here. And I mentioned, I think I did in my last video, that we had our stops right below this low right here, as this was almost certainly the half cycle low. And if price went below that, then that would be the first warning sign that a triangle had started. So we had our stops right here. Those were hit this morning. We entered back here the morning of the 28th. So we managed to make a little bit of profit on this trade. And now we're on the sidelines. And the obvious trigger for a bottom and a move back up is obviously going to be the elections next week. So anyway, at this point, I don't think we're in a big hurry to do anything until we get past the election, at least not in the stock market. All right, so moving on to gold, I noted in my last video that there were multiple attacks on the gold market to try and take gold back down. The problem is that basically everyone knows what the response is going to be, and there's going to be more money printing. So it's not going to be easy for the bears or for the banking cartel to attack gold and push it lower. So we're kind of flat today, and I think a big what's going to determine the next trending move, I think, is probably what happens in the dollar. All right, so we're getting a little bounce here, and I noted this in my last video. We've kind of reversed this pattern. This was higher highs and higher lows, and now we're moving into a pattern of lower lows and lower highs. But we've got a bounce here. At the moment, this looks like a bear flag forming, and the assumption would be that this would continue lower. But as I've said many times in the past, I will never trade currencies. They're the most heavily manipulated markets on the planet. The ECB is going to try to stop the rally in the euro, and if they succeed, or at least temporarily succeed anyway, then this bear flag could turn out to be a daily cycle low, and then we get another rally attempt that might even come up and break above this high. So it would just really muddy the pattern in the currencies. So whether or not this flag breaks lower, or if the ECB can just stop the rally in the euro and they turn this into a daily cycle low, is probably going to be the determining factor on where gold goes over the next week or two. So, we're kind of in no man's land. We haven't made a lower low. I mean, we've got a pattern of higher highs and higher lows here. But then we've got, like I said, there was an attack on the gold market here. They prevented this cycle from making a higher high and potentially right translating the cycle. And now we're kind of stuck in no man's land. If the dollar breaks down, it's going to be extremely difficult for the banking cartel to suppress gold any longer. If it rallies hard, then I would say they're going to have a pretty good chance of breaking this daily cycle in gold, and will eventually will come down and move below this 100-day moving average. But my suggestion is for traders, you can pick whichever one you want here. We've got one stop would be below this little minor downtrend, this pivot here at about 1885, 86, something like that. If you want to give it just a little bit more room to work, you could put it right here. It'd be about 1875. If they force gold below that, then they will have created a lower low. And then at that point, I think you just assume that the banks are going to succeed in left translating this fifth daily cycle, and then you would just want to wait on the sidelines for probably a test of 1800 before you would try again. But right now we're just in no man's land. We haven't got any technical breakdown, but we've obviously got multiple attacks on the gold market to try and prevent it from rallying. So it's probably just going to boil down to whether that flag pattern follows through and breaks to the downside in the dollar, or whether the ECB can stop the rally in the euro, which will of course cause the dollar to rally, and they turn that into a daily cycle low. So we're just kind of in no man's land in the gold market right now.